This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty. How you doing, my man? You got a Dolphins shirt on. Where'd you get that discounted? Because I know you.
This is old school, bro. I got a little Dan Marino action going here.
All right. You know, because I know you hit the discount rack for sports shirts.
I do.
Right?
I like getting everything I can for a huge discount. I get lots of jerseys like that for sure. But no, this is old school. I've had this in my closet for like 15 years. So.
Yeah, by the way, folks, I'm not insulting him. He told us that.
I did tell you
that he'll go to a sports store and they have like the rack that is just on sale, and he'll grab a shirt from whatever, dude. It's the Chargers or the Portland Trailblazers or whatever, but it's $4. So he'll just
exactly.
It's not like he's a fan of it, but he'll wear. So that's why I was wondering if that was one of those special racks specials.
No. I think my wife got me this a long time ago. So
it has a Hall of Fame logo and everything on it.
Got the Marino Hall of Fame shirt. So
yeah, that's badass, actually.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Will you be attending Pitbull Stadium?
I will be going. I'm sure I will at some point. We'll be down at FIU to go see FIU and Pitbull in action. I don't know how often he will be there. I know he's got 10.
He has 10 days to use it.
Yes.
Why doesn't he have a Pitbull festival?
I'm assuming that's what he's going to do.
Let me ask you something. Like, what the hell are the people in FIU doing? That fucking stadium is excellent for concerts.
Yes, absolutely.
Shows, all kinds of like, why haven't you even tried to get yourself in the mix for all of that? And if I'm Pitbull, you have 10 days, man, do a weekend festival where you headline on Sunday and you have acts all weekend. And bro, the 1.2 million, he makes that 10 times over in a weekend.
100%. I think that's ultimately the plan here. I mean, I think he played at the University of Texas last year, if I'm not mistaken. He made like 610 grand for that alone. So you figure if he throws some of his buddies on stage, like you said, has a 3-day, 4-day festival, who knows what else he uses it for. But listen, smart idea by FIU, smart idea by Pitbull to get in business with one another. FIU needs all the attention they can get. So this is one way to do that.
Only problem is Voli 305 vodka will be sold at the games. Yeah, maybe they might sell 2 whole bottles in a whole season because there's like 300-400 people that go to those games. So,
right.
Unless it's his suite, because he has 2 suites with up to 40 people, maybe that's where they'll drink the vodka. But, it's fun and all that, but it's not going to help you on the field at all, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you got to.
Well, you never know. Maybe with NIL, right? Maybe this gets them the kind of attention where some of these kids that would normally leave, and he is going to be involved in NIL with FIU. Maybe these kids that would go to
can only buy you a quarterback. You still got to buy the rest of the team.
Listen, bro, they'll take 5 guys at this point, right? Take 1 offensive lineman, 1 D lineman, a cornerback, a receiver, and a running back. Whatever it is that you can afford, right? That's what you do with it. So
that's interesting story, dude. It's fun, and I'm happy for them. They got some money, but I'm hoping I get a festival out of it. So that way, I got a concert close to me, and maybe I'll go with the wife and go hang out and go see some Pitbull action there. All right, you guys got to talk to the coordinators today, Shannon Dawson, and he's not afraid to put pressure on himself. Because, they were 24th last season in yards per play. He thinks they can do a lot better. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's certainly sort of stepped up to the plate in terms of expectations with this group. But I think part of that is him just challenging the guys that he has. I mean, when you've got 3 800-yard receivers, when you've got a guy in Damian Martinez who ran for 1,000 yards, and, you got this offensive line that you have a lot of confidence in, you think you can make a jump. And so he essentially said today he thinks they can be top 5, top 10 in yards per play. Last year, Miami was 24th. They improved a ton, got a lot better. But, he's expecting big things. And I think it sort of speaks more to the expectations internally for this team, right? Like Mario Cristobal is not going to come out and say, hey, we're winning the ACC title and playing for the national championship. But this tells you that if the offensive coordinator can come out and say, hey, I expect this to be top 5, top 10 in yards per play, then they're expecting more points and more success than they had a year ago.
Yeah, and they're expecting their quarterback to be as special as we are putting a lot of expectations on that young man when We don't know if everybody else around him is ready to perform at an elite level. Does he have elite receivers? No.
Yeah.
Does he have a proven tight end? No. The only thing that I really like is I think they've got a good offensive line. And because of the Martinez kid, then you've got maybe the backs you need. But in the other areas, there's a lot of question marks, dude. And if he's going to be special at quarterback, you need a special receiver or two. And I like the one kid, but he's a number 3 at best.
Restrepo, I'm sure you're talking about, right? Yeah.
4 in a real in the receiving corps that we used to see here at the University of Miami. He's a 4 at best. Okay.
Yeah.
So here he should be a 3 in this offense. So do
Yeah.
you have 1 or a 2? And so that's why I'm saying that the coach, man, puts a lot of pressure on himself for that.
Yeah, and look, Sammy Brown is a guy that wasn't necessarily a national name. He was at the University of Houston, but he's a guy that I think is built with some special ingredients. He's really, really fast. A guy that has played in the Shannon Dawson offense before. I listen to the players more so than I do the coaches. Because I feel like the players are usually more honest than the coaches, right? And when Cam Ward talked about Sammy Brown and what he brings his team, about how he can win one-on-one matchups, beat man coverage, and how important he is to his offense, my eyes kind of perked up a little bit, because he doesn't have to say any of that. And the fact that he did tells me that he thinks he's got a really good one there. So maybe Sam Brown develops into that guy. Maybe it's JoJo Trader, the freshman that just got here, that I know has high expectations for the future. Maybe he's sort of accelerated at a higher rate. Maybe it's Isaiah Horton, who's the big physical guy who they were excited about internally, that's in his 3rd year now, and now it's kind of the time for him to produce. I don't know. Maybe it's Jacoby George. Maybe that guy stops making dumb penalties and starts performing to a much higher level. But the feeling is that between Cam Ward and all the different weapons they have, that they can meet expectations this year and be a really good team.
All right. Lance Guidry gave us some news on who's starting at safety. Talk to us.
Yeah, he basically came out and said Jaden Harris is going to be the starter opposite Mish Powell at safety. I don't know if he necessarily intended it for it to come out that way, but it did. He kind of said it in passing, and so he's running with the first team and basically getting a lot of the first team reps. Which, not that I doubted Jaden Harris would be the starter going into camp, but it was sort of an unresolved deal where going into camp, it could have been a lot of different guys. Could have been this freshman Patterson who just got in, Zaquan Patterson. It could have, there are a lot of different guys you could have put back there. Markeith Williams, who's another 3rd-year guy. In the end, though, today, after 5-6 practices, Miami's DC basically says, Harris is running with the ones. And look, they're going to play a lot of different guys there. But Jaden Harris did start 2 games last year when Cam Kitchens was out. I thought he played pretty well in both of those games. Wasn't a standout, but he didn't disappoint either. So to me, I think it's a matter of, can he go out there and hold on to the job? Because Zaquan Patterson is somebody the coaching staff is really excited about. One thing Guidry did say today about the freshman was that, in spring, didn't really understand everything. Now he understands everything in fall camp. And that's one of the benefits when you're able to get a guy in spring. They can spend all spring learning, and by the fall, they could be ready to play. And I think that's what they feel about Zaquan Patterson.
All right, good stuff there. Although, it's kind of the same thing as the wide receivers. It's almost like we took it for granted how great they were constantly a wide receiver, how great they were constantly at defensive back. And these are things that they're skill positions that we used to excel at. We used to watch them. It was the next guy and the next guy and the next guy.
Oh, I mean, listen, blame Nick Saban. Blame Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, Alabama and Georgia. I mean, they came in here. Look, they got guys for decades out of this area at those 2 positions, and oh, by the way, look who's the best team in college football every single year, right? It's those 2 teams now. So it's once you start a pipeline, once other kids start seeing the best players in the country go to the same school and have success and win champion, and it's been 20 years since Miami's been relevant. It's hard to kind of get back on the horse. That's why Mario's here. That's why when people said, "Oh, Miami always had talent," it's like, no, dude, go look at the NFL. It's not producing the same way they were back in their heyday.
Not anymore. Now, the real question is, the Arizona Cardinals have introduced the cotton candy burrito to their menu.
Yep.
There's M&Ms. There's, like, I don't know, it looks like sprinkles in there. And I mean, whoever eats that burrito next to you is going to be farting up a storm, bro. Like, I don't want True Fin Fan eating that burrito next to me while I'm because True Fin Fan, I see him right there on the chat board. He is our notorious farter.
Yes.
Baya, that
looks like a diabetic coma to me. Oh,
Yes.
That's what that looks like. I mean, and I have diabetes, so I would not come anywhere near that. Unless I wanted to end up in the hospital.
Ooh, a cotton candy burrito. That's some nasty ass shit. All right, boy, Bruce Feldman has got
Yes.
2 freaks on the list.
Yep.
Who are they?
Francis Mauigoa is the first one, which shouldn't come as a surprise.
Shocker.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. 341 pounds, lean muscle, ridiculous strength and power. The new addition is the freshman, the 5-star defensive lineman, the top 10 recruit that Miami just signed this past year that Mario is super excited about. That's Justin Scott out of Illinois, who is just a freak. And when I was reading some of the stuff about this kid, first of all, I mean, just the athlete that he is, to be 300 plus pounds and to be able to move the way that he does is just absolutely ridiculous. But the fact that he made Bruce's list already as a true freshman tells me that he's really, really something special. And look, he may not start. Miami's got a lot of experience, defensive linemen and tackles in general on this team, guys that are going to play in front of them. But I would not be surprised if by week 6, week 7, week 8, that dude is heavily in the rotation and eventually taking over a starting job because he's that kind of a talent. And it's hard. Most true freshmen don't come into the D tackle position and make an impact. But, it's one of those positions where if you are a freak, and he is a freak, he's one of the 101 freaks in the country, according to our Bruce Feldman, then you can certainly make an impact and play. And I think Miami fans should be excited about that kid because I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Well, True Fin Fan says, Manny, I am way off for feeling like this year's Canes team is going to be a pleasant surprise. I've said 2025 since we got Mario, but this feels good right now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be in the playoff. I don't know whether or not they win the conference, but I think they're going to be I think them and Florida State are the 2 best teams in the ACC. Pretty hands down. I know everybody's going to talk about Clemson and Dabo Swinney, and rightfully so. He recruits well, and they've got talent on that team. But they took a step back. They're not using the transfer portal. NC State is a respectable team, but are they an elite team? Not really. Louisville last year made the ACC championship game. Miami was with them in the fourth quarter. It was a close game. Blew it basically because of the quarterback play for the Hurricanes. So I think this is a year Miami finally takes that step up. It's year 3. It's time for Mario Cristobal to win. And so I'm believing the hype. I'm buying the hype this year.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. What do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out?
Well, lots to read from everybody out there. I just wrote that Pitbull FIU story this morning. But I will have my predictions, my oddly specific predictions. We just did a podcast. Chris Vanini and I did that. Last year I hit on 33% of my preseason oddly specific predictions, though, which isn't bad. You hit 330 in baseball, that's pretty good. It's hard to hit a bunch of other ones, but so I'll be having that come out on the 15th. I'm working on a bunch of other preview stuff, transfer portal, who are the best transfers. So there'll be lots to read, brother. There'll be a ton of it there.
All right, there you go. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And don't forget, you go to Caneswear, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off of anything in the store. You can also do it online at caneswear.com. And if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. So use our code BIG010. Manny, we will catch up on Friday, my friend. Thank you.
Good talking to you, brother. Talk soon.
You got it.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.